Near, rip a hole in the sun. Welcome to Cum Paude. Why would you cum soft when you can cum louder? Yeah.
Welcome to Cum Paude, Cum Laude. Welcome back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and squirrels, we are here for another installment of Cum Paude Productions. We just had the NFL draft last week, and we got to see where some of our top tier rookies landed, whether that was good or bad, shake up the rankings there a little bit and make some decisions here for our fantasy draft coming up on June 21st at the Ron Sword Enterprises homestead. Wanted to get a nice Paude out here since we have had the draft, since we have seen where these rookies are going. We've now got an opportunity to really take a look at the draft order, the team needs, a little bit of prediction coming on here for the first round. Not going to go into the second round, not going to go into the third. There's really only like 20 rookies that are worth drafting in this draft, unfortunately. So if you did make moves to rebuild and get into the first round here, good for you in the first round. Anything really past, like the 208 or something like that, you're really hunting and searching for that value. If you need help finding value, definitely talk to our league commissioner, owner of the John Gary Flames or John Aria Flames, and see what they have to say about the value that you're going to find later in the draft. But let's jump into it. We wanted to talk about what the team needs are, but we're just going to go through each round by round. Or each pick by pick and talk as we hit those teams. Some of you do not have first round picks, so you're not going to get a prediction of what you're going to get, but we will mention your team, honorable mentions. So there's only 9 out of the 14 teams are in the first round due to some trades that have happened. And some jockeying around. And, we're in our 5th year now of Dynasty. So we've started to see that kind of shake up from big moves being made, trading first round picks throughout the year to make your team better in the given year. And now you're seeing, teams that don't have first round picks. So pretty cool. We're jumping right off the board. We all know about the season that Marty had last year. Definitely a source of debate of the level of tanking that people can have to get that first round overall pick, and whether or not it was done in a gentlemanly fashion or just kind of threw it all out. And it doesn't matter. We're here. He's got the first round overall pick. I think we all know where he's going to go. That's been a trend year over year in this league, that there has been a clear cut number 1 overall dynasty pick going into it. We had Breece Hall, we had Bijan Robinson, and now we've got Ashton Janty. So Ashton Janty 100% is going to go 101 overall. Talk about team needs. So Marty depleted last year, didn't have a lot, mainly just Green Bay Packers on the team. And we'll see if we can continue with that trend somehow here in today's predictions. But Marty needs to fill some of those running back gaps. He's got Bucky Irving that he drools all over. Adding Ashton Janty in there is going to give you that solid 1-2 punch. Still has a little bit of a need, though, behind that you want to look to fill. He's got Trey Benson on the bench. We'll see if he can finally overtake James Conner there, but this team needs more than just one running back. We'll say that. There's a lot of other gaps, could include wide receivers. I think the draft actually hurt some of the capital on this team from a wide receiver perspective, so this team could use a wide receiver as well, and need a backup quarterback. That's something that maybe you want to see if this team tries to get a backup to Jordan Love at some point, maybe via trade, something along those lines. So Marty McFly is going to take Ashton Janty, number 1 overall, and fill that running back hole. Next up is Dan. Dan is got that 102 pick. Definitely made some trades this past season, three different trades this past season, lost some of that running back capital that he had at one point. So this team desperately needs running backs. Right now, starting Alexander Mattison and Jerome Ford. The Browns, crazy draft for the Browns in general, just with 2 quarterbacks. But they got Shadur, so, they're going to go to the Super Bowl this year. But they did draft 2 running backs, so Jerome Ford's stock may be dropping with that as well. Wide receiver room is not bad in this case. Rashee Rice lost them due to injury, so they'll hopefully be coming back as long as they don't get any kind of other arrests out there in Kansas City, which seems to be a theme with some of those wide receivers. But we're looking at Dan at the 102 overall pick. And this is going to be a trend here because many of the teams that are in these top, 6, 7, 8 picks all need running backs. They all have a big hole in running back. So you just got to think, throw any rankings that you're seeing on Sleeper, Fantasy Pros, anywhere that you look, ESPN, to see what your rookie rankings are for fantasy. You might want to throw those out for this league because we're going to see a crazy run on running backs to fill those voids. So Dan is 100% needs a running back on this team to be able to be somewhat competitive. Really needs multiple running backs, but Dan's only got one pick this year. He's got that 102. So this could be that opportunity where Dan's just fully into the rebuild mode, and this is maybe a throwaway year to try and collect capital. Maybe he dishes that 102. I don't think he's going to do that. So I think he's going to take Omarion Hampton out of LA, who is going to be pairing up with Najee Harris, but Hampton is just massive beast. And I think Harbaugh is going to use the hell out of him. So Dan's going to go ahead and take Hampton with that 102. Next, we've got Marty again at the 103, had the 101 and 103. So this could be like a really big chance for Marty to make a splash and just totally fill some of those gaps. There's too many gaps to fill with just those two picks. Marty does have another pick coming in the third round, but 101, 103. I think this is where we're going to see our first trade happen. And it might be an unlikely trade partner. So that's what we're here for, is we're going to come up with weird narratives and decide that, yeah, Marty's going to dish that 103. While he could have an opportunity to get another stud at that point, because we do have studs here at this point in the first round, Marty's going to try to rebuild his team a little bit faster because he wants to be competitive sooner. So he's actually going to trade back in the first round. He's going to get 2 first-round picks for this 103, and that's good value. 2 first-round picks for the 103. Who you might not have thought is going to make this move is Tommy Barnes. Tommy Barnes has the 110 and 113. How we allowed Tommy to get 2 first-round picks with the stacked team that he has already. Didn't take me long this year to start the Tommy Barnes glazing. I know. It's okay. We're going to continue to drool over this team with how deep, especially the wide receivers are. But Tommy, if you could poke any holes in this team at all, which is going to be very difficult to do, I'd say we need another running back. We've got Breece Hall, we've got Kenneth Walker, and there's a third guy in there. But three running backs is more than most teams have. But if you're talking about a team of this much depth, if you can add another kind of bell cow or whatever you want to call it, every week starting running back, I think you should. And with how deep this team is, I don't think they care too much about those other 2 back end first round picks, especially as you see the talent drop. So we're going to see Tommy give up 110 and the 113, move up into that 103 spot. Marty's going to collect 2 first round draft picks on the back end. With that number 103, what we're going to see happen is we're going to see Tommy jump it all over Trey Henderson. Trey had a fantastic landing spot in New England, who can quickly compete for that role with Vrabel there as a coach. You know, there's going to be opportunity for a 3-down back kind of opportunity. Just said opportunity a couple of times. Let's say it more. Trey Henderson's going to go to Tommy. Tommy's going to fill that awesome, now have 3-4 running backs that he can throw throughout. It's going to be, as usual, tough decisions with the class of wide receivers that Tommy has, but Tommy moves up, grabs Trey Henderson. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We got running backs off the board. Capone is coming in next. Capone is another team at the 104 that needs a running back, really being led by Devon Achane right now. The next back is, oh boy, the feller out, Jaleel McLaughlin, is still, fighting its way through Denver. So, Capone needs another running back as well. Solid at wide receiver. You got the rookie wide receivers, the young wide receivers between Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson still on this team. We just got a new quarterback. And then picked up Sam Laporta in a trade last year. So you got coverage there, got Jared Goff, you got Justin Fields, Bryce Young. So you're good at the quarterback spot. You need to fill this running back position. So what we're looking at here is a toss-up. There's a couple of running backs that you can go through here, all quite talented. And here's where you just kind of look at that draft capital a little bit, and you look at the team that they're going to. So this is where Capone is going to go and grab Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State, who went to Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't have much of after they let Nick Chubb go to free agency. Cleveland's going to be battling for that running back spot. They did draft another running back later in the draft as well, Dylan Sampson, I believe, who could be competitive there. But Judkins coming off a national championship. We're going to be looking at trying to steal that running back role in Cleveland, overtake Jerome Ford. So Capone is going to use that 104 and grab Judkins. Here we go. We get to Brian, the 105, and this could not have worked out more perfectly for Brian because Brian is another team that needs running backs, being headed up by Chuba Hubbard right now, who had a great season last year and will continue to be solid in that running back spot for Carolina, but it's starting to get crowded out there. And Brian needs more than just Chuba Hubbard on his team, and Brian's going to get that running back. Of course, you know where he's going to go. He's a Steeler fan. Caleb Johnson is going off the board right here at the 105. Powerful runner, sneaky runner that people should be keeping their eyes on, but Brian's going to nab him right there, continuing that run of running backs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the board. We haven't seen Travis Hunter yet. We haven't seen Tet McMillan yet, who are all ranked higher on the draft board. But we got to think again, this is our league. This is teams that might have one starting running back. Brian, with Chuba has that one starting back. Capone with Achane, one starting running back. So teams need these backs, and they're going to go and take them, even if it's a little bit of a reach. I tell you, I looked at more opportunities for trades to fall back, but giving up on needing that spot, needing that running back, it's not worth it because you don't know what other teams are going to just try and nab one, try and steal it away. So take it when you can, unless you have some other deals in the works. Maybe you can work something out for a veteran versus trying to trust a rookie to come in there. At the 106, we've got Drew Barnes. Drew is another team who is actually, decent at running back. We've got Kieran Williams, John Taylor, and then we've got Miles Sanders, who is trying to bring life back to the career, but definitely in a committee situation there in Dallas with Sanders. And so once again, we have somebody that could use a running back. They've got some depth at wide receiver. They've got flex options. They've got tight ends that they can throw in through there, good at the quarterback position. And we're at the 106 still at this point. So yet again, 6 straight running backs off the board. The next one that's available, and yes, this may be a reach, but again, if you need it for your team, if this is something that's going to be an important bye week fill-in so you can remain competitive throughout the year and you don't feel like you're in a rebuild, you got to take that position that's going to fill the gap. I know some other schools of thought is take the best player available, but if they're not going to make an impact to your team, you either trade that pick away or you take the player that's going to actually fill the void on your team. So RJ Harvey coming off the board at the 106, got a good landing spot in Denver, who just had their running back room empty out with Javonte Williams, so immediately going to be able to compete for that role. And Drew fills another kind of spot on his team that needs that flexibility, needs that bye week kind of fill in with RJ Harvey. All right, we're done with running backs, at least for right now. First 6 picks for running backs. I'm telling you, it might not go that way, but this is something that these teams need for their group. So let's get to a non-running back position. Believe it or not, there's some great talent still available here, and we're halfway through the draft. So Pat is now up with the 107. This is another team that could use a running back, but the talent has now been cleared out. Those top 6 are running backs that will be able to compete for carries throughout the year. You had some that are probably going to take over starting role immediately, others that are going to be fighting for it in training camp, some that'll get it. But at this point, at the 107, after we've gone through 6, I don't think that there's another running back worth that 107. So this is a spot for Pat where Pat can even think about trading, see if he can find a trade partner that would be looking to jump up and grab a wide receiver. We're not going to go into the trade right now. Too much to think about, and we're about getting quantity over quality here sometimes at Paude Production. So Pat's going to go ahead and grab Travis Hunter. believe it or not, Travis is going to fall to the 107. Very high up on the board, very highly skilled player. We don't know exactly yet how Jacksonville is going to use him, probably majority of the time at that wide receiver position, but he wants to play DB as well. So we'll see how that goes in the world of the NFL. I think it's going to be a little bit different doing coverage on NFL level receivers every single week versus doing it against collegiate receivers. But Pat is going to get his guy, Travis Hunter, at the 107. And we're jumping to Flaming John Aria at the 108. Here's another steal. Falling all the way to the 108 is Tet McMillan, another top tier wide receiver. Him and Hunter probably go back and forth as the number one receiver in the draft. McMillan's just a huge body. Going to Carolina, so somebody that Bryce Young will be able to see over top of the line because he's so tall. And yeah, John gets a nice little steal there with McMillan falling all the way to the 108. Then you come down to the 109. That's my pick. Yeah. So my team is definitely in need of some gap filling here. You know, I've got quarterback on the mind with Aaron Rodgers, who isn't making a decision, probably going to retire. Tight end is, you know, I've got 3 tight ends, but there's nobody doing anything fantastic week over week. It never hurts to get a running back or wide receiver. Let's just need everything on this team. Why not? Just add depth where we can. But where this one is going to go, this might be a reach in our league, but Tyler Warren is going to go here, the tight end. So that fills that little splash need. We'll see if his college play translates into the NFL, getting a good landing spot in Indianapolis. So the 109 first tight end off the board will be Tyler Warren from Penn State. Then next up, we've got Marty, who had traded that 103 to get the 110 and 113. This was Tommy's pick at the 110. Marty is thinking, I still need some running backs here, so I'm going to make a reach. I know Brian's behind me. I know Caponi's behind me. These guys both also need more running backs. I'm going to go ahead and reach, get a guy that I really loved out of college. It really embodies who I am as a person, hard-nosed, bowling ball style runner, and going to get Cam Skidabo going to the New York Giants. So that could be a position where battling, you know, Tyrone Tracy is there, Devin Singletary is still there, but this could be, you know, maybe like not quite Mike Allstott, because nobody will be Mike Allstott, but kind of gameplay of just bouncing off of people. He might also just get completely smashed in the NFL. But Marty's going to reach on a running back here just to keep that going, because he's only got 2 at this point between Janty and Bucky Irving. So he goes and gets Skadabo. Brian then comes up at 111. The running backs are depleted. Outside of that little reach there, the running backs are depleted, but there is still a very talented wide receiver out there, a couple of very talented wide receivers out there, and Brian's going to grab one of them. So Mecca Ibuka out of Ohio State is going to go to Brian. That's going to be yet another player that should be starting out of the gate, fill a nice little slot position there in Tampa Bay, alongside Godwin and Evans. So Brian gets some great value with Ibuka dropping to the 111. You know, it's probably like a 105 kind of spot, which Brian also had, but because of our league, it's going to fall that deep. Caponia then, again, pretty damn good value, falling all the way down to the 112. Caponi's going to get Chicago Bear. Luther Burden going to grab that position. Speedy, shifty wide receiver going into an offense that's going to be highly powerful, getting the coaching over from the Detroit Lions. And we know how powerful that offense was. Tons of weapons. So is there enough mouths or are there too many mouths to feed there? But a lot of talent here. Going to be a great outlet for the LGBT QB there in Chicago. So again, value, not really anything great from a running back perspective at this spot. And that's a great 4th wide receiver for Caponia's team. Great for your flex. So if you get that running back at the beginning, now you've got a starting lineup. Now Caponia's got that starting lineup that compete, and you're not worried about that single hole that's kind of glaring, and you got your 2 running backs and 4 flexes. Two wide receiver, 2 flex, and there are 4 wide receivers. But Luther Burden goes at the 112. And then we get Marty coming up again because he did that trade back. So he gets 3 first-round picks. And this is what you want when you're doing that rebuild. You want as many of these picks as you can get. And there's a wide receiver available that I think Marty's really going to like. I think it's going to create a connection that only Marty will look for, and that is Matthew Golden for Green Bay, of all places. High value here. Jokes aside, because of the love for the Green Bay Packers and the number of Packers that are on this team, solid pick there at the 113. Maybe doesn't make sense to have 8 Green Bay Packers on your team, but hey, Jordan Love will throw to at least one of them, probably all of them in this team. Now, if Marty could use that pick and probably get Christian Watson, but let's go with Golden. I think Golden's gonna be good out there. The final pick of the first round, the 114. This is John. John made that trade with Scooter last year where they flip-flopped Justin Jefferson and that guy from Dallas. What is his name? Is he good anymore? I don't remember his name actually right now, but the 114 flip-flop with Scooter. Scooter drops down to the 201, and they do that. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb. How can I forget CeeDee Lamb's name? It's just a forgettable player. But 114, John. John's going to take the second tight end off the board here at this point. He's going to grab Colston Loveland. It's a huge, big-bodied tight end. I think you could argue between Loveland and Warren, 2 different kind of play styles, but I think they're a toss-up between the 2 of who's the number 1 tight end in this draft this year. Going to the Bears yet again. So again with the offense being run by how Detroit ran theirs with Sam Laporta, you could see the similar usage. So Loveland should get a lot of looks, and that gives John a solid 1-2 punch with TJ Hawkinstocks out there in Minnesota. Love those NFC North tight ends for sure. Great lineups there. So we rounded up. John fills a little bit of a need there for having a backup tight end on top of TJ, who could be injury prone. Grabs the tight end. Not going to jump too much into the second round. Like I said earlier, there's not too much more talent there. A lot, I think, is going to be reaches by the time we're in the middle of the second round, especially with some of those running backs that just don't have. It's going to take time for them to develop. They're not going to make immediate kind of impacts on their team, but we haven't seen a quarterback go yet. I'm sure Shadur is somebody that everybody's got their eye on. And we've still got a decent amount of wide receivers that we can look at in that first couple of picks of the second round. So some of the teams that didn't get a first round pick are former back-to-back champion Pubic Medusas. Does have 2 second round picks and some action in the third round. So maybe there's an opportunity to move up into the first round if they can package some action there. But this team traded away Travis Kelce, and so now has a void to fill at tight end. So maybe look to use one of those second round picks to grab a tight end. Doge City does not have a first round pick, but is there in the second round as well. Yet another team who really had a stacked running back group with Damian Pierce and Ramondre Stevenson, but neither of them really panned out. They got overtaken by other running backs. So there is an opportunity there to kind of backfill some of that action. Maybe look at tight end. Isaiah Likely should just take over for Mark Andrews after what Mark Andrews did to everybody's heart and soul towards the end of the year last year. But could fill in that tight end spot. Maybe trade Kyle Pitts. What do you think about that? Any takers for Kyle Pitts at this point, or just you got him, you're just going to roll with him? Could be an opportunity there. There's a couple of tight ends that might be worth a target in the second round. Cum Sale does not have a first round pick for a long time. I think has like the 312 or something like that is going to be the first pick. So unless we see some kind of crazy trade action, I don't see Cum Sale unless Cum Sale does a lot of research, and this could be that Kieran Williams, Isaiah Pacheco kind of magic that we'll see happen with that late third round pick. But they need a running back. If we're talking about team needs, they do need another running back. They've got the 1-2 kind of thing going on. We'll see if Nick Chubb signs anywhere. Really should. I would hate to see Nick Chubb's career end just being released by the Browns, just allowed to walk. That guy's still got a lot of heart and should sign somewhere. But let's face it, Cum Sale needs to try to reach on a running back, or we'll see if they try to trade up. And anybody else? Harry doesn't have a first round pick in this year. And I think wide receivers are starting to get old. We saw the Keenan Allen made it onto the trade block. So if anybody's interested, trade block was a fun little voice tweak that happened. Practice, talking about practice playoffs. So we've got Harry could use a wide receiver. Again, running back youth is always important. We'll see how that team goes. If you've got any commanders on your team, you might be able to make some trade deals there. But Harry's going to be not seeing any action until the second round either. I'm really excited to see everybody, as many of you that can make it out to the Great Ford Estate in Finksburg, Maryland on June 21st. I believe the draft is at 5, I want to say. I might be wrong on that. There's a countdown thing in Sleeper, so we'll see what time we had that set for. But people are welcome to stay overnight. I'm inviting them. The twins are going to be away on a luxurious vacation at the Geners. And we'll get some za, we'll get some wings. We got to get wings for Scooter, because that's what Scooter does, is just chow down on wings. He is a connoisseur of buffalo wings and many varieties of flavors of the wing, drumsticks, flats, whatever you throw at him, he will pick them clean. So I hope to see as many of you as possible. If anybody is interested, we are going to try to play a little golf beforehand. We did that 2 years ago. Marty and I did it last year as well, which was a lot of fun, but we got paired by some other John kind of guy who was a little bit too homophobic for our liking. He didn't like the way that Marty and I were behaving. But it's still fun. So if anybody wants to play a little golf beforehand, that invitation is open. I am just openly inviting everybody to other people's things. I'm not organizing any of this, so I feel like I can just invite random people to everything. I think that's going to be the end of the show today. Hopefully we'll get some more content out here before the draft comes out. Just have to figure out what the people want to see, what they want to hear about, any other kind of predictions. Maybe we'll invite a former co-host who's just been on sabbatical for a while, bring the alternate Paude co-host out here and get predictions from them. They could see something a little different. Maybe we'll get more trade action, because there's some opportunity here for more trades with those early picks, like we saw with the Marty and Tommy trade. And we'll see if that happens. But thanks again for watching, for sitting through this whole thing. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. So let's say goodnight, Fermi. Good night, Fermi.
Thank you for listening to the official podcast of the Public Honors College Fantasy Football League. Cum quickly, cum often, and cum loud.